Turn Towards Love podcast is a space that's held for sacred conversations, gathering the spirit of wonder, the science and the beauty of spiritual minds to help us uncover our true, authentic selves. We will be unfolding into the mystical realms of spirituality and magic to heighten our inner awareness, all to discover how turning towards love will bring us into coherence to our inherent connection to Source, shedding light on the puzzle of our psyches and emotions to align our mind, body, and soul back into the timeless, limitless, and infinite love that we are. Through this adventure, we will create a new world we want to live in. I have created this podcast with every part of my being, for all those beings that thirst for more in their lives, for those sensitive hearts, open minds, magical dreamers, wild souls, the guardians of the dragons and more, and to land our consciousness right back where it belongs. I believe bringing the balance and harmony back into the collective, into our body, into healing ourselves and holding space for each other is where we will find the answers to our biggest questions. With years of study in mindfulness, psychology, yoga, and many spiritual topics, this is a platform where I can apply what I've learned for you, holding the wisdom within me that information inspires transformation. The question is, do you believe in yourself? I feel the whole world needs to know how incredible and how uniquely powerful as an individual you truly are. No matter the problem, the pain, the disease, the illness, the fights, the loss, the loneliness, I've realized that the one thing that heals us, that brings us closer to ourselves and others, that brings us the most unbelievable comfort, is love. Throughout this video, I will give examples of how I've turned towards love. In my life, spirituality has been what's brought me into understanding my truest self. It's what makes sense to me. It's where I felt I belonged. It's where I could switch off from everything else externally and understand what lights up my life. It's what made me discover my own inner self. This concept can be called I am, as we are everything and nothing. This has led me deeper into the layers of my heart, and I hope through these conversations it will bring you closer to yours. Hello and welcome, wonderful humans. I am Rachel Iris, and I am here with you today to talk a bit about turn towards love. So, turn towards love isn't something to feel, oh, everything's just love and light and beautiful, because it isn't, right? And maybe it can be, but it isn't. At least not for everyone. And I think turn towards love has been in my life a big indicator as to what works. And so really in every moment where I haven't turned towards love in my life, so in any challenge, circumstance, towards another person, towards myself, I feel like if I have been negative, if I've reacted in some kind of unhealthy manner, if I have, it is to ourselves on what we then give to other people. And I have just been learning a ton throughout my whole life about this very thing, and I think we all kind of do. And that's what rang a bell to me one day, just going, actually, it all really does mean just to turn towards love. Because once I observed myself in situations, and then those reactions made a ton of consequences which weren't, exciting and loving and caring and kind, but it was the opposite to that. But when I turned towards love in a circumstance, in a situation, that was challenging, that was difficult. I ended up realizing that love is the answer to all problems. And we think, well, how do we turn towards love in some situations? And so this is really why I've made the podcast. It's like, how and why do we turn towards love? Why should we do that? And what does that mean? Now, for me, it's so deep, because once I started to turn towards love as often as I could, that kind of muscle was built up. So I was like, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can turn towards love. It doesn't matter what you're doing or saying to me right now. It doesn't matter how difficult this thing that's come up in my life is. It doesn't matter what the universe is throwing at me, people, places, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. The frustration of life goes away when you handle it with love. Just doing the whole magic thing here. I feel like I'm just like playing some kind of orchestra. But so back to the point. Really, I then observed how the situations came about once I did turn towards love, and it is shocking. Like, it's super amazing. It is pure magic, because we don't want to do that a lot of the times, because we have kind of like a self-defense mechanism, which our brains are built for, fight or flight, in a system especially that triggers that fight or flight response. So that response, which is where we want to attack, where we want to defend ourselves, where we want to prove that we're right. Once I realized what all that was about, I started to take a step back and be like, okay, no one's right. We're all right. And what is that, right? And we don't have to change anything, but we can allow change to come through us and around us. And it's how we go about those changes. It's how we go about those people. And then the way people then respond to you is with love, or they go, oh no, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, see that now. If you give, it's like you're holding space for people in love with no judgment whatsoever. Because as soon as we judge, as soon as we want to defend, then everything just kind of goes into a mess, because we argue and we get frustrated. And I see that playing out all over the world right now, like it's literal war outside of ourselves, because we have war and conflict within ourselves. And when you start to learn the nature of like the quantum reality of life, and the multiverse, and the different layers and dimensions of being, you start to understand just in all the areas and places in life which has taken us astray, because we end up repeating patterns over and over again. Sometimes we don't see those patterns because we are so caught up in the moment of what is happening, right? In the fear, in the drama, in the soup of what's happening. And we can drown in that soup, right? And I don't want us to be that way anymore. I don't want to be that way anymore. And so it's been in my practice to bring myself to such an awareness that no matter how hard I feel triggered or hurt in some way, you know, and I by another, right? Or by something else external than me, I realize that it's only me that is accepting this external comment, action, behavior into my life. And then I go, okay, so I need to take charge of why I'm allowing this to happen, why I'm allowing this to take place when it doesn't feel comfortable for me, right? So this is a long-winded answer to what's love. This is the depth of it, and this is the depth of how I see life, right? Because when you really go in, you understand the what you are sowing, what you're weaving into this life, and that then becomes your creation. And then people think they're stuck in that creation, but they're not. We are not stuck in this creation that we have created around us. And I really would love on this podcast, with all these incredible minds that come on the show, to bring forth a new creation, a new world, a new life, new possibilities for us, so we don't get tied up and caught up in the old, in the same repeated patterns and drama. So we don't become addicted to that either, but so we can see it, we can witness it, we can love it and embrace it and let it go. And then we can grow and evolve. And in my journey, I have grown and evolved in such intense ways that I can love my past self. And in the past versions of me where I've felt such shame, such fear, such guilt, you know, of things that I have done, said, been, you know, and what others have done the same, you know, towards me, around me, to other people, to the world, to animals, to nature, to you name it, right? I could hate that. I could fear that. Or I could take my own responsibility, you know, could bring it into my own responsibility and to make a change within myself. What can I do to help? And then when you start to open your mind to those different realms of reality that are being discovered now hugely in quantum sciences like epigenetics, and oh my goodness, I am obsessed with that kind of world. So, and because I've delved so deep into that and into yoga, into the mind, into the body, into the soul, and wow, what is here for us blows my mind. And I want everyone's mind to be blown. Like, I want everyone to feel the magic. I want everyone to feel the bliss, the state of ecstasy, and be able to play and become their innocent, vulnerable, open-hearted, beautiful selves. You know, we only see harm in this world, I believe, because we have put so much harm onto ourselves, and we have accepted so much harm from, you know, other people, and so around us, and it's time for that to stop. I am literally going to stand. No, I'm going to put my foot on the ground right now, and I'm like, that is it. We're stopping. I think, but I can feel that energy anyway. And so my life has been, let's talk a bit about me. Okay, so that's the kind of gist of Turn Towards Love. It's deep, it's vulnerable, it's open, it's explorative. It's about exploring, self-exploration into oneself within all those dimensions and layers of self, so we can then bring that into the outside world and create the life that we love. So my life's been a journey of that, thinking, oh, I need this externally to fulfill me internally. Oh, that didn't work. So I'm going to go and get that. Maybe this relationship will heal me. Maybe this job will heal me. Maybe this will give me a bit of status. Maybe I'm worried about my status, so I need to do something a bit more over here. Or like it takes a lot of smashing of the ego, a lot of, you think you can do this and then it's not happening for you. Okay, so let's do this again. And so I wanted to feel like I was thriving in my life and not just surviving. I wanted to, I always had this motivation and drive. And for some reason, I always felt magic from when I was a kid. I was just such a strong connection to nature, to the world around me, to every intricate detail of a person, of nature, and of connection, right? And how we can develop that, how it can grow, how we just can become not only a better person, but that's more aligned and more focused. As a child, with like my mum's science, mum had this like giant like health science book. It was huge and I was obsessed with it. And I was like, oh, what does this mean? What's this? All about the body. And I started to get into the body and into science, and I loved it. But my whole thing was, I'm not good enough. Okay, so it was like, I'm not smart enough. I can't do this, And it was all to do with the projections of other people and how other people saw me, the way I looked, the way I behaved. So yeah, I was just basically a child that was running off all the time, had mud all over myself pretty much 24/7. Because I would like creating mud pies and just being like super daft, doing like army things on the floor and like, pretending so the light doesn't come on. As soon as the light came on, I had to go all the way back around the circuit of my garden, and we had a big pond with fish in it, and I used to just get in it and be like, hi fish. Okay, I'm nuts, I'm aware, but I was just wild and free, and the concept of wild and free has stayed with me throughout my life. And so from just being really in tune with nature and really in tune with that wild sense of being, I felt like I expressed that in the clothes that I wore, genuinely in my personality, but it was that mix of, I am a very shy and embarrassed human, believe it or not. So I used to always be blush in school, and I used to get a bit picked on for it. So I was very shy, but I had this kind of weird introvert, extrovert, I don't know if labels, but like, I didn't understand myself, and I didn't understand the people around me and why they would react the way they would, and I would react to them the way I just didn't understand people, and I felt really different, and I'm sure a lot of people out here who are listening to this can resonate with how different that they feel compared to other people. And you know what? That's because we are, and that's our superpower, I believe, is our unique ability to be fully authentically free in who we are. But I feel like because I was, and I know many people, especially now and kids now, feel so like, wow, glad I'm not a kid now. It must be so difficult because of this like the social conditioning, and the social media and media. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. So I was able to play constantly. I just played outside all the time. And it was great because I had people to do that with. And so my life was okay. But then when it came to school, I was like, whoa, this is boring. Let's go play. So yeah, I liked the practical side of school and life. But then it was actually in religious education, I got introduced to Buddhism and became obsessed with Buddhism. I was like, this is my place in the world. This makes total sense to me. So I just kept going and going and going with Buddhism. And so I was like, what, 15, 14, I don't know. So I just kept going and read what I could read about Buddhism and about psychology, about the mind, about the body, about the spirituality of it. So the soul and the spiritual part for me really, really helped me to spread my wings and fly, and gave me that sense of knowingness of source and who I am and how I am connected in such a profound way to everything around me. And that was okay. That was normal. That was what it should be. And I was like, yay, like, this is how I feel. So I couldn't stop expressing that around me. And I remember when I was 18 and I was at this party around this fire. It was great, singing, dancing, and then there was this couple there and they were like, whoa, have you seen The Secret? And I was like, no, what's that? What's The Secret? Oh, I hope this mic switched on. Yeah. So I was like, no, what's that? So then I got into The Secret, and from there, my mind was just blown. Because I took that fully in my stride and lived and breathed The Secret as much as I could, but realized how much conditioning I had, because I wanted to thrive and be abundant and be that kind of person. But then you've got the family kind of environment, which has been like, money doesn't go on trees. You have to work super hard to get what you want. So I had like 3-4 jobs at a time, and I was trying to go these different places. I was trying to do all this, and I had all these dreams, and I thought it all had to involve about a 9-to-5 job and like that kind of way of living. And I was like, this can't be life. I was a makeup artist, I worked in Space NK, if you know it, in the UK, and I did really well there. And yes, I did acting on the side, so I've been acting left, right and centre, doing all sorts of different things. So that's a huge part about me, because acting, I've had so many profound moments, from the moment that I was such a shy person, and then one day decided to stand up in improvisation, and I was like, I've just stood up, and I'm like, now I have to do something. And my shy, embarrassed self just became in the moment this character that I just thought of, and everyone laughed. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can do this again. Stop it. Carry on. No, I was just this. So when I first took that step in acting when I was in school, yeah, that wasn't just some step. That was a huge achievement for me, and I think it just shocked everyone, not just myself. And it was in that moment that I became truly independent, because from that moment and the feelings that it gave to me, stepping into that independence, it gave me a gift that I didn't know that I had. I was then in search for how I can do more of that, because I didn't want to be this shy person, because I had such drive and motivation and actually such a passion that I couldn't put away for acting secretly. And I wanted to fulfill that passion of mine. So I just, again, followed my intuition. So from that moment, I decided to walk myself to the theatre that was in my town. I auditioned myself, and I was like 14 at the time, and I sat in the circles there, and for some reason away from school I felt more confident, and with a script I felt incredible that I could just like step into different characters and be different types of people and see what that was like to be different than myself, or to find that character within me, because it's always within us, really. And that's what I found doing acting. Like, I can find any bit of that character in me and exaggerate it if I need to, because it is already there. And it's just not being afraid to express that. And it's very therapeutic to do, very therapeutic to put yourselves in those positions, because you start to feel the empathy. Because the way I do it was like very methodical, so it was having the approach in through my emotions, which was just a natural thing for me. It wasn't like that was just the way that I acted, and I didn't understand it then. I was just doing it. And I didn't really have any fully training at this moment. So I was just going for it, and I got some big parts. It gave me just the environment of being an actor and other actors, and having that kind of like-mindedness, that silliness, that playfulness, that kind of eccentric personality, which is not what you would see every day in school, for example. Whereas, like, okay, I can tolerate it, and then I realized that I just don't want to tolerate things anymore. I actually want to do what I want to do, not what society is trying to force me into, or what any other person around me was trying to force me into. But also really trying to gain my self-worth, and feeling free from any embarrassment that I might feel. But regarding coming back to myself, it was still it's still being like an ongoing process to uncover that true, authentic self in pure love for myself. Like, I'm closer than ever now, but it has been an epic journey to get to the point where I am now, to say the least. And so this was just start of it for me, because this was just such a huge step to just step into an entirely different world like this. It was just like an incredible feeling. I just head straight first into the unknown, in the uncertainty, in the abyss, in the like, what is going to happen? These people could hate me, these people could judge me, these people could do whatever. But no, I just went for it and did my best, and then just met incredible people and was able to just shine in my own little way at that time. So it's all coming together piece by piece, which was a beautiful thing to feel within myself, because I thought I would not feel that way. So yes, it will always be a part of my life, especially with the future creations that I want to make, with my documentaries and stuff, but and maybe even teaching. But it was turning towards love in that fear, and eliminating the fear through love. So just understanding that I am doing what I love, and I am love, and that everything I do is based on those foundations. But then I was super close to my granddad, and he was the only grandparent I had left. Oh my goodness, please don't cry. So when I found out that he was gonna pass over, so I couldn't cope, and I thought, if I didn't have all those the foundations of self, of like grounding, and of all the teachings and lessons that I'd learned, I don't know how I would have ever got through my life the way I have done. I had booked to go to Indonesia and to go traveling, actually. So I broke down, to say the least, and was like, I can't go traveling. And he was like, you are going. Like, how can I deal with this? Like, I wasn't giving myself that time I needed to heal. So, and really understand what was happening. Because I actually didn't believe it. I was like, no, he's not. It's not his time. But then he was like, you need to go away. So I went. I remember having this like panic attack on the plane. Oh my gosh, I'm going to the other side of the world on my own. Why am I leaving him? And then I was like, you're doing it for him, with him, through him, right? So I had this like two-sided thing, which was, be in the moment for him, do everything for him. And for me, because I needed me to heal, not jobs and money and life and whatever it was. Yeah. So I went away, one of the best times of my life, and oh my god, I met this amazing family, and the tour guide, dear to my heart, and allowed me the space and time to heal over there. Traveling is one of the best ways, I think, to really understand yourself and what you're capable of, and also that we don't have any limitations, and to really push ourselves out of their comfort zone. We've all been through the brutal times, but that's what we need in order to grow some dukkha, some suffering for sukha, happiness, joy, but it doesn't have to be that way. I think it's the perspective that we have on suffering and on pain, and understanding that we are very capable of seeing things entirely differently, healing ourselves and growing in those multitude of different ways, which is very alternative to the way that the life is being led now. I decided to go to uni, and you know what? It was like life just needed to throw so much at me for me to learn so much for some reason that I have yet to understand. But now I'm coming out of that. But it was like a whole 10 years of exponential growth. To uni, I went acting because my granddad was like, loved me acting. My nana loved me acting. So I was like, I'm going to act. Why not? Because I am so grateful to have the opportunity to be able to even have that option. And I'm crying again. I'm so grateful for everything that I have. Oh my gosh, God bless my family, and just everyone, every human on this planet. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you have listened this far, wow. I don't even know what you must think. The first year, it was amazing. Like, I just had a ball. The family of the friendships that I built to this day, have some incredible best friends. Just gifted to receive beautiful souls into my life. All of them. And we created some amazing performances together, where it made me realize just how much we need to come together as a team. In this world now, it's all about separation, all about, I do believe we need to be our own autonomous being, but in a sense where we come into our highest spiritual self, in tune and complete alignment with our higher self, with source energy, and with divine, with God, with, I feel like, not for me, just in a sense of that divine connection with everyone around us as well. And I feel like we are so blessed when we have those connections with others, and we don't feel separate, but we feel like we can get through all the difficult times together, and grow together as a team, even through our differences, because everyone's different, everyone's got their own unique background, and that means everyone's got their own belief system, and belief systems can really pull people down. So I believe right now in this world we need to let all those belief systems go, and this is some of the things that are really going to be pushed on Turn Towards Love, because it's about the harmony, balance, equality, bringing people together of every sentient being in this world coming together as one. And only then can we really reach our full potential, because if we have adversity, if we have judgment on others, we're screwing ourselves over massively. So through the love, we come together in unity forever. So that's a huge thing that I learned through uni. And also how dismantled human beings are. Because after the first year, I moved. Shouldn't have moved. But all meant to be, because during a huge challenge that I had when I moved, I also got chosen to go to America out of the one person in the whole uni, to go to America. And so I went, and I should have stayed a year, but I stayed 7-8 months in America, and then did the rest of the year in France. America blew my mind. I mean, the amount of love I received shocked me so much I didn't know how to receive it. So that was another brutal lesson, all about love. I didn't know how to receive the love. So what I understood about myself is I'm not the best at receiving. Another thing, giving and receiving, just channeling that giving and receiving as both as equal form, through breath, through alignment, bringing that coherence together, in just a sense of like a new sense of self had arisen within me. Right? So that carried along with me. The Buddhism carried along with me. The secret carried along with me. And then this intention for abundance and growth, so I can live a financially free life, etc. But then I was like, please just give me something. So I immediately went online and then saw this like business thing. I felt called to just go on and just like look at something positive. It's actually Six Figure Mentor. So I went on to there, and it was like a life savior for me, because from there I met a business partner and created Route to Mindfulness, which is also another YouTube channel that I have. I loved this program. It was just, it really brought me back, and from there, just meeting the people that I've met that changed my life forever in the most beautiful ways, and gave me such ambition and motivation to strive for way more. I was like, people have all these abundant lives, why don't I? And that taught me to think bigger, be bigger, don't think small in this confined box, but reach outwardly. So it was more of the practical side of things, but it gave all the spiritual kind of aspects to it as well. It would give you all the amazing books to read. Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of those books, and I was like, wow, that really helped, and I've read deep spiritual books, but then and done all the meditations and the practices and that gave like kind of that balance, which was really what I needed in that moment, and just helped me to expand my mind even further. So our thing in life to me was observing the experiences that were happening, and how they evolved us and created us into such epic humans, because we expand that bit more, we expand a bit more and expand a bit more, and we just keep expanding, and you don't realize there's no cap. There's no cap to that. It just keeps going. And I was obsessed with the expansion and the adventure and the pull and draw to advancement in some way as a being. I did everything I could. Yes, I went to then get to where I am now. I've always wanted to do a podcast for ages, and it was like money and time and effort and things that I just had to heal myself in many ways. I did a whole yoga for a year, became a teacher, really delved deep into my body, really tuned into what it is that I want, where I want to be in life, who it is that I am, what I'm here to bring, or I'm here to help others bring. And that's the reason for this podcast. I want to show other people what's possible in life through love. So that's why I'm here. I had to have I came back when I was in France. I had this real tough news, one after the other. One of them was my dad had a stroke and he was dying. So I flew straight back over and left uni, so I never finished uni. And he's alive to this day. A complete nutcase. I am not going into that detail. But yeah, that was the most difficult, challenging time of my life, looking after my dad. So, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. I hope that you can understand what Turn Towards Love is and what it is that I'm here to bring, and how deeply grateful I am and how much I just love you for being here, for being present with me, for taking a chance for yourself to grow, for your heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, all of it to heal, to expand in ways which are unknown to you or I yet, and to really believe in magic, believe in play, believe in curiosity, believe in that innocent, vulnerable part of ourselves, and know that that is actually our strength, that our authenticity is our way forward in becoming in unity with everyone and everything on this planet. So we don't need to lead with fear because we're scared of an outcome, but we so can lead in love because we have faith in what will be. We have trust in what is. And so it is. I will save all the good stuff, the fun stuff, the spiritual experiences, the excitement for another day. So I will leave you. May you always, wonderful, wonderful people, turn towards love. Goodbye for now.